Hello, my name is Elizabeth Bero, and I'd like to talk to you today about how to make a camera obscura. Camera obscuras are a great introductory lesson to students on how light can enter a reflecting telescope. I happen to use them with my third graders when we're studying the eye. And this is a quick and easy thing to do with kids. So let's get started. First of all, what is a camera obscura? Well, in the 1600s, this was a party game. You take your guests into your parlor and seat them so that they're facing the wall and their backs are to heavy curtains covering your windows. Then you make a small opening in the heavy curtains, and hopefully you've paid your gardener to play with your dog outside or have some children running around in the yard, and the sunlight bouncing off of those objects would be projected upside down in front of your guests. And before there was Netflix, there was this, and it was a pretty exciting and fun thing to do. So how does that look? Well, if you have, gosh, if my friends would just leave me alone. Light travels in a straight line, so this is another model of how the camera obscura works. Light from the top going to the bottom, light from the bottom going to the top. So you have an upside down image. This is also how your eye works. So if I move myself over a little bit, you can see light from the top of the tree being bent slightly as it goes into the cornea, being projected to the back of the retina upside down, bottom of the tree being bent slightly so that it's being projected upside down at the top of the retina. If you've ever looked at a newborn baby and it's kind of giving you this, that's because it takes a couple of days for your brain to sort all that out and turn that image right side up and let you see the way you're going to see. And this usually gets a laugh out of my third graders when I tell them that that's how babies are seeing things kind of upside down and backwards, but it's true. So what does it take to make a camera obscura? Well, you need tape, and you need a ballpoint pen, and you need an unmade camera obscura because hopefully you haven't made it for the third time while you're making your videos. You need construction paper, you need foil, you need wax paper, and you need a toilet paper tube. So let's get started. All right, so step number one is to take your square of wax paper, and if I'm working with small children, I just cut all this out ahead of time for everybody. And you smooth that onto the end of the toilet paper tube, and you secure it with a piece of tape, and it looks like that. And then you're going to get your square of wax paper, and you're going to put that on the other end. And the wax paper is going to kind of help hold that, the foil is going to help hold the wax paper onto the tube. So you've got a tube with a smooth projecting screen of wax paper on one end and a smooth screen of foil on the other end. And now you're going to roll it up in your construction paper. So you want to set it up so that the foil end is to the outside of the paper. And then you're going to roll nice and tight. And I don't have construction paper, but construction paper works great. Piece of newspaper might work well. Dark colors work better than light, although this is going to be fine. And before I tape it, I take a little peek and I make sure that there's no leaks around the edge where the paper is meeting the tube. Okay, and if it's nice and firm, then I go ahead and I grab some tape, and a couple pieces of tape are going to hold that just right. There we go. Now, up to this point, I would have had my students doing all their own work, but I usually have the adult put the ballpoint pen hole in. So you're going to make a nice tiny hole right there in the end of your foil like that. And now you're going to have your kids take a look, and they can look at a lamp in your classroom, or they can look out the window, and they'll see the image out the window is projected upside down on the little wax paper screen in the tube. And I'm so worried about my kids looking at the sun that I don't even take them outside. We just look out the window because if you were to look at the sun, of course, you might hurt your eyes. So you would hurt your eyes. Kids will eventually want to experiment with this hole, and they'll make a bigger hole with their pencils or their pens or something. And what they'll find is that a larger hole lets in more light, but the image is blurrier. And that's kind of a cool little experiment for them to play with. So don't scold them if they're making their holes bigger and they're playing around with the concept, because that's how you learn, right? Get messy. So anyway, we've got a nice little camera obscura here, and I have a picture of my students enjoying it there. And I want to thank you all for joining me. I hope you have a great day.